Introducing the next speaker, Dr. Shubhang Agarwal, Head of Orthopedics and Director, NHS Hospital, Jalandhar. It's an honor to introduce you, Dr. Shubhang. Born and brought up in Jalandhar, he's an alumni from KMC Manipal, and then he did his arthroplasty training from Bombay Hospital, Mumbai. From there, he went for super specialty arthroplasty training to UK and completed his MCH ortho. He was the first and the only super specialist orthopedic surgeon in Doaba. He keenly follows the development of technology in ortho and started computer-assisted surgery in 2008 and new robotic knee replacement in Jalandhar from April 2019. Welcome, Dr. Shubhang.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the very kind introduction. I would just like to thank IMA Punjab for giving us the opportunity to present our work. So today's talk is about the first 225 knees that we did at NHS Hospital with this new robotic technology. NHS Hospital started in November 2017, and obviously going with our motto of being technologically advanced and being the market leader for technology, we thought of robotics in the operation theater. So why did we consider? 3 reasons: accuracy, precision, and maybe part of it in the beginning was glamour. The apprehension for robotics. Cost, it obviously causes additional stress to the institution. Transition from navigation, which we were doing for the last 12 years before we bought this. Learning curve, of course, meant increasing surgery time in the beginning, and we had our scare about increasing infection rates. Stepping out of our comfort zone, you're doing something and it's going fine. Why do you need to change to something which is supposedly better? Changing implants, staff training, and results, will it actually work? And extra costing issues for the patients. Finally bought it April 2019 and had some interesting hands-on training in the US. First 20 cases we had initial euphoria. The staff just needed one sawbone demo because they were tuned to computer navigation, so they moved on to robotics quite easy. The first 5 cases I was also scared, so we cross-checked each and every single robotically done knee replacement surgery with the conventional jig. So we don't open the medullary canal on the femur side in a robotic surgery, but we opened it up and put a jig inside and just made sure that you are used to, because 20 years you've done something and you change to something else, you need to convince yourself that you're doing the right thing to understand how the robot thinks. So we had some hip registration issues with the side support that you put on the leg. Now we've moved on to a leg holder, which makes life easy. So this is how hip registration is done. Then a virtual real-time on-table model of the femur is created. Similarly, model of the tibia is created, and a pre-operative planning is done. Real-time imaging is displayed on the screen, and the surgeon can then go with the robot or can override the robot by deciding whether at 1 millimeter or 1 degree, we can do 1/10 of a millimeter, so that's 0.1 millimeter, and 1/10 of a degree. So that's the kind of accuracy which you can obviously never achieve with the naked eye. Eyeballing can never get you that kind of accuracy. So this is how there are no jigs, there are no saws used. This is a conventional knee replacement being done. If you see the bottom right, that's how a saw is used to cut the bone on a jig. And that's to fine tune. Whereas in a robotic, it's just burred off. And with one small burr, just the right amount of bone is taken out. So this is the final placement of the implant, and you can get a real-time image of how it is, and it increases, really surprises you. For me also it was a surprise that what we've been doing, it gives you a deeper insight to what you were doing for the last 20-25 years, and it gets you to improve yourself constantly and give better results for the patient. It's not just it's knee replacement, there's a lot of effort put into that. So the quick recap for the study. The first 147 consecutive patients from April 2019 till 15 Jan 2020 were studied. 225 knees in 147 consecutive surgeries, 69 unilateral one-side surgeries, 78 bilateral knees. Age range from 46 youngest to 84, 107 females, 40 males, and weight was 63 lightest and 110 the heaviest. Implants used were primarily oxinium 192 femurs and titanium tibias. Tourniquets were used in 59 bilateral knee surgeries and 69 unilaterals. 23 short, obese, or atherosclerotic patients did not have tourniquets on their leg, and 15 cases without tourniquet was done because the world is going to no tourniquet, no drains. So this is what we want to move on to. And over the lockdown, we've sort of practiced ourselves better, and we've almost gotten there with no drains and no tourniquets. Drains used in all bilaterals and only 53 unilateral knees. Spinal adductor canal blocks and 7-point cocktail injections were used. 67 out of the 78 bilaterals got combined spinal epidural with the 7-point cocktail. Average surgical time per knee was 60 minutes skin to skin in the first few cases. It was 90, then went down to 55, and now we are 46 minutes skin to skin. All these patients were managed with oral and IV analgesia, and checklists were maintained for all patients. That's our medication protocol. We will not go through this. Again, medication protocol. Analysis. 218 knees, average of 13.2 degrees of preoperative varus, and average 10 degrees of valgus in 7 knees preoperatively. Post-op mechanical access planned target was achieved up to less than 1 degree variation. Less than 1 degree means 0.1 to 1 degree variation in 96% cases, and less than 3 degree variation in 7 out of 225 cases. The error in the 7 was recognized as tibial varus. Mind it, you will not even see this error if you're doing a conventional surgery. In tibial varus in 5 and femoral valgus in 2. Hip registration error issues because of the leg holder. Post-op gap mismatch, 4 patients landed in residual flexion, 3 of them stretched out gradually, and 1 surprisingly went into further flexion and needed a re-release posteriorly at 4 months. So no pins were knocked down or moved even in a single case, and this is what is important, 135 patients, all of them were mobilized within 3 hours of surgery. The rest 90 walked within the first 24 hours. 117 patients, they left their walking aids, the walker or the stick, by the 10th day. All of them generally leave aids by the 20th day. 1 patient had cellulitis at the tibial pin site. 2 knees had superficial wound infection needing IV antibiotics for 5 days. 3 knees had superficial wound infection at 7 days, not needing any IV antibiotics. These were the initial cases where the surgical time was probably nearing the 90 minutes. So the distinct advantage of a robotic knee replacement surgery, unbelievably detailed planning and sculpting of the bone, which is not possible by using conventional tools. We can see what we could not see with the naked eye using artificial intelligence algorithms. Kinematic balancing, where it gives the patient a natural feel. That is why we call it knee replacement, just like your natural knee, because we don't touch the ligament, we don't release the ligament, you take out the minimum amount of bone, so the pain is less, bleeding is less, and the movement is more natural. Reproducible results with excellent outcomes and no opening of bone, so leading to minimal bone loss. Thank you all for a very patient listening. Dr. Daya, I have stuck to the time.
Indeed, very crisp and very informative, Dr. Shubhang. May I now request Dr. Bakshi and Dr. Pankaj to please grace him. Introducing the next speaker, we have with us Professor Dr. Jasmine Dhaya. She is the Clinical Director and IVF Consultant, Nova IVF Fertility Center, Jalandhar.